All right, let's cut across right now to Chandramouli Basu, filmmaker and founding member, Aravalli Bachao. Nisha Markant, she's a student at the Sri Ram School and is very vocal and feels deeply about where we stand today vis-a-vis the Aravallis. Asmita Chauhan, she's also a student from Bluebells Model School, and Vaishali Rana, environmentalist, trustee, Aravalli Bachao Citizens Movement. I want to begin with Mr. Basu. Mr. Basu, you've been standing by the cause of the Aravallis now for decades. I want to ask you, the latest order that has come in on the 20th of November, is this the final death knell where the Aravalli range is concerned? You're on mute, sir. You're on mute, sir.
Well, firstly, thank you for shining a light on this critical issue. To answer your question, it absolutely is the final nail in the coffin. And like Mr. Bhati said, 90% of the Aravallis will get wiped out by this definition. The Aravallis have been threatened for decades. There have been multiple attempts at trying to encroach upon the Aravallis, and what is a critical hotspot, biodiversity hotspot, is going to be destroyed by human greed. The fact of the matter is, even the Haryana government tried to dilute the protections that were already there in place since the 1900s for the Aravallis by trying to dilute the PLPA, the act that since 1900 tried to protect the Aravallis. And we've been trying to fight back against this kind of encroachment and this kind of human greed that's threatening it. There are vested interests involved from mining parties. There are vested interests in Haryana, specifically from realty and from people who have Benami interests in the Aravallis. And I'm wondering whether these are the kind of interests that are really being represented by this kind of an order. By trying, I think this order has come in a manner that has hidden some valuable information, some critical details about the kind of classifications that have been in place, that have been proposed by the Forest Survey of India earlier, and in that manner, information kept from the Supreme Court, which has led to this kind of a situation and this kind of an order.
Vaishali, would you want to come in and, not that we need to know, but why the Aravallis matter for especially North India's climate, our water, and something that has suddenly caught on to at least the imagination of the NCR region, and it should have come in a long time back, which is pollution?
So, like when we talk about the AQI, which is in the Delhi-NCR, what we are facing, every single resident of Delhi-NCR area, vis-a-vis the definition of 100 meters of Aravallis, the height definition that has been given. So when we are already, today it was hazardous in the morning. The AQI was hazardous today, and 2 days back also it was in the hazardous category. So when we are already battling this kind of AQI, and when we like the FSI report says that about only 8.7% of hills will qualify as Aravallis if we go by the definition of 100 meters, then we can understand. I mean, we can very well imagine what is going to happen to the AQI and the air of this of the whole Delhi-NCR, not just whole Delhi-NCR region. And it will be Haryana, it will be Punjab, it will be the upper plains, Gangetic plains. All of this is going to get affected because Aravallis is the only barrier which is stopping the desertification of this area. And this is the grain bowl of India, like Punjab, Haryana. These are all agricultural states and upper Gangetic plains. इस तरफ अगर desert ने आना शुरू कर दिया, so agriculture goes down the drain. It will be zilch, and we can forget the agriculture that is happening here. Not just that, the soil degradation of this area. AQI, what we are talking about, I mean, people, there will be a mass exodus. People won't be able to live here. I mean, with this kind of with this definition coming into effect and the AQI.
So it's not just the AQI, it's livelihood, it's the water. Yes. Everything is dependent in the northern,
so,
the climate is...
Yeah. Aravalli is the area where groundwater recharging happens for all Delhi-NCR area. So as per few reports, it says that 1 hectare of Aravalli recharges about 2 million liters of water per year, per hectare per year. So this is the kind of recharging that is happening because of Aravallis. And Gurgaon, in any case, was declared a overexploited zone in terms of groundwater by Central Groundwater Authority of India in 2013. So I'm talking about almost like 12, 13 years back. Gurgaon was declared an overexploited zone. Similarly, Delhi is suffering in terms of groundwater, where extraction is almost 200 times more, or like as is reported in Central Groundwater Authority, is reported by these authorities. And when this kind of recharging wouldn't happen, so you can very well, half of Gurgaon today is dependent on borewell. Gurgaon does not get pipeline connection in many sectors. Almost 50% Gurgaon sectors are dependent on borewell. Farmhouses, individual standalone houses are dependent on borewells. So if we are dependent on borewell, there's no pipeline connection happening. There is no groundwater recharge happening. So where you think anybody would be able to live here when there would be no water, and AQI as it is
No, fair point, because the Aravalli Belt is quietly supporting northern India as it's a climate aid of sorts. And you just heard it, viewers. Be it guiding the monsoons where the climate of northern India is concerned, it aids in that, preventing dust storms. You just heard the environmentalists say it is recharging groundwater. All of that comes in where the Aravallis come into question. I want to go to the kids, but Mr. Basu, I want to bring you back into this conversation before we go to the two kids who are joining us this evening. Why do you think this order will ultimately lead to governments exploiting the Aravallis?
Well, if the past is anything to go by, firstly, let's look at this entire report of the high-powered committee that has been the basis of this judgment. And on the face of it, it seems that this is more a report to promote the interests of mining rather than trying to protect the Aravallis. Firstly, I heard somebody who was a forest officer to ask, why is this definition even required? Are the Himalayas defined in any such technical manner in this detail? It's only this definition on the face of it seems to be only to promote the use of the Aravallis in manners that will really be harmful for the environment. So the past is and if the past is anything to go by, the way that Haryana has also requested that mining be reopened in the Aravallis, these are all indicators that this is not going to help the Aravallis in any manner.
All right. Also quietly supporting the ecosystem where soil erosion comes into question. There's also the biodiversity in this region. There are so many people dependent on this region. There is just way too much there. I want to bring in the two kids now, Misha Makan as well as Asmita Chauhan. Misha, I want you to take, this opportunity as a 2-minute pitch, because the echelons of power are clearly not been listening to the likes of Mr. Basu and Vaishali, who've been crying out for years now to save the Aravallis. Maybe they'll listen to young kids as you. So use this time, Misha.
I actually can't hear you that properly. It's really breaking in a message.
There is a little
You can't
bad
hear me?
network
All right,
from your
Asmita,
end, like from the TV.
Okay, there's bad network from our end. We're going to correct that. Asmita, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Or Asmita, would you, while we correct Misha's network, would you want to take that question?
Absolutely.
So go ahead, Asmita.
Right.
Use this 2 minutes.
Hi everyone, I'm Asmita and I'm a 15-year-old living in Gurugram. I think when I wake up in the morning, when I go out and I breathe, I should breathe fresh air. I should feel rejuvenated. What I feel is coughing. What I feel is asthma. And you know why? Because our AQI is rising and rising and rising. And now we want to develop our cities. We want to mine. We want to take out minerals. At the cost of what? At the cost of our heritage, at the cost of billions and billions year old mountains, at the cost of our the biodiversity, at the cost of what is saving us from this high AQI. So if you one day decide to remove protection from these mountains that are the very foundation of our lives, that are the very foundations of the lives of people of Delhi NCR, I would just like to say that there are not just me, but several 15-year-olds around the world who are screaming that I want to go outside, I want to play in fresh air, I want to breathe properly, I want fresh water, I do not want to be deprived of resources because you want more minerals.
That's a very good pitch. That is a very, very good pitch, Asmita. Misha, can you hear us now? Are we better?
It's a bit better.
You wanna have a go at it?
Can you repeat your question again, please?
Would you want to take this time? What's your pitch? What is it that you have to say? Why do you feel so passionately about the Aravallis?
Well, Aravallis is, a crucial economical barrier for the northwestern part of India, and as it helps controlling the winds, and it's a source for groundwater. It's a habitat for so many species of leopards and jackals. So without Aravalli and the trees that are there in the forest, it'll be definitely hard for us to breathe. We'll be low on the water resources. And to be honest, due to the development, I'm going to say the so-called development that is, happening, the mining, the everything, that's why they're, promoting more sort of deforestation. So in that case, it is not going to help us because in the future, the AQI levels are going to rise, and the air is already so polluted. So the Aravallis is really important for the northwestern part of India.
Well, you're bang on there, and thank you both of you for putting yourselves out there and saying for what it is, and possibly hoping this time the governments will hear. But I'll bring in Vaishali. Vaishali, there are multiple PILs right now where the Aravallis are concerned, with lots of environmentalists like you. But do you see anything coming of that? Because this fight, Mr. Basu's been fighting forever. Nothing really comes out of it. What do you expect now?
So we are ready with our PIL. We should be filing it within a week or so, requesting the Supreme Court to reverse this, pointing out the lacunas, because I was going through the order of 20th November, and even if a layman reads the order, there are certain facts which make you think, why, like for example, the FSI's report, which very categorically says, I've just jotted down some points from the order, where it says, FSI says that Aravalli Hills they have been defined as, here they're not even talking about the height. Their definition of Aravalli Hill has been given as the hill, as well as the uniform 100-meter wide buffer zones surrounding a hill or a hillock. So this is what this FSI said on point 5, in the order at point 5, this is said. And then FSI again goes on further to define, saying that any hill slope which is more than 3 degrees. 3 degrees is very little, Anything which is more than 3 degrees would be considered a hill or a hillock. Aravallis would be considered as Aravallis. But here that was not considered. And they Supreme Court just went ahead with the report that was submitted by the committee that was constituted, which said that 100 meters ke upar ki pahadi hai, Aravallis hai. Anything below that, 99 meters, 90 meters, 80 meters is not Aravalli. So why was it that FSI report was not considered, which very categorically and in such details has gone ahead to describe that a slope more than 3 degrees will be considered Aravallis? And on what basis or on what science was it decided that FSI report would not be considered, and the report which was prepared by this committee? And I don't see any, what was the logic that they took this report and not that report? And were there any experts on board who recommended that? When this order was passed, and there's another thing where the amicus who pleaded saying that if they go by the report which is given by the committee, 90% of Aravallis would be gone. But yet, Supreme Court chose to go by this report and not by the FSI report. So that is what we're going to challenge in our PIL.
See, I
Mr.
think
Basu, why do you
basically-
think report, I know you want to come in, one report was ignored over the other.
Yes, one
See,
report was, and FSI's report was ignored.
Right.
And
That's
the
exactly
committee's
the
report was
point. Why
ignored.
was that
Right.
done? And I think that was done fundamentally. There is one paragraph in the order, perhaps paragraph 13, if I'm not mistaken. That paragraph really puts the point of view of the ASG who was representing this committee and the Ministry of Environment and Forests,
Environment and Forest.
that they that more area would be excluded if the earlier FSI report and the earlier definition that was spoken about by Vaishali just now of the 3% slope definition, if that was included, that more areas would be excluded from this protection of the Aravallis, which is patently a wrong fact. There is no logic to this, and there is no logic to why 100 meters and above qualifies as hills, and anything that doesn't really shouldn't be given equal protection. The role that is played by a hill which is over 100 meters and under 100 meters is exactly the same. So there is zero logic to this definition.
Yes, yes. And there's one more thing to it. If you read the order, there's one more.
Go ahead.
Just missed the point. Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
go ahead, Vaishali. Yeah, we can hear you.
So I was saying, one is this: the why the FSI report was not considered, and there's another thing. So there's a committee called Centrally Empowered Committee, which is constituted by under Supreme Court. That committee comes under Supreme Court, and they have described in details mining where it should be allowed and should not be allowed. And Supreme Court in their order, they say that as of now, they are not allowing any, they're not giving any fresh licenses for mining. The old licenses continue till the time a fresh report is not submitted, where under which sustainable mining would be allowed. And then they go on to say that banning mining completely in Aravalli is not recommended. The judgment says that, because if mining is banned completely in the Aravallis, it will promote illegal mining. But my point is, as somebody who's been working for the protection of Aravallis for so long, and at Aravalli Bachao Citizens Movement, just 3 years back in July 2022, although mining is allowed and mining is going on in Aravallis, a DSP ranked police officer, one Mr. Surinder Bishnoi, was crushed under a JCB by illegal land mining mafia. And he had gone to the site in New Meva to stop this illegal mining, and he was just crushed under the JCB. So, if ये बोल रहे हैं कि illegal mining promote हो जाएगी if they ban mining, so what was this? And what was this? A police officer rank of DSP was crushed under this. Not just that. Just few months back, under the Chief Justice Gavai, Honorable Chief Justice Gavai, who allowed this 100-meter definition, they were hearing another case where right adjoining Rajasthan, in New Mewat, 32 kilometers to 5 kilometers illegal road was constructed by the local sarpanch over there to promote illegal mining. Vehicles from Rajasthan were coming to New Mewat in Haryana, blasting the hills. And this is Basai Mio, the name of the place, blasting the hills, taking away all the quarried stone to Rajasthan. And this road, construction of this road was facilitated by the sarpanch over there and the land revenue officers over there, from Tehsildar to Patwaris and all, and they were suspended. So this is despite legal mining happening. So this illegal mining is still going on. So what do they mean when they mean
Mr. Basu,
that?
The fact is, everyone seems to have their hand in the till here. Go ahead. Final points.
Members of Aravalli Bachao went in risking their lives into these areas to explore, and they did find evidence which has been collected and given to the courts about illegal mining still rampantly going on in the Haryana Aravallis. And given the level of compliance that is there, and given the level of the ability of the government to curb illegal mining, this kind of a thing, which even opens out what limited protections are there, will be a total disaster. And it might sound dramatic to say that if the Aravallis go, then this entire region of the NCR and the other areas in Punjab and Haryana that Vaishali pointed to will not be livable anymore. There will be no human or any other kind of habitation. This area will go.
I appreciate
It
all
might
four of you
sound
for
dramatic,
joining
but
us.
it's that's the truth of the
No,
matter.
There's
yeah.
one more thing.
Very
One
quickly,
more
ma'am.
thing which
Yes.
I want to add to this. Yeah. So Charkhi Dadri is one place in where Aravalli stretch to Charkhi Dadri also, like in Haryana.
In Haryana,
so Charkhi
yes.
Dadri is this is a district where legal mining is allowed. So members of Aravalli Bachao Citizens Movement team went to visited the legal mining sites, and we have video recordings where we recorded that mining is going on, where it is going on beyond the recommended guidelines and parameters. So underground water aquifers have been burst open. There are streams of water which are flowing, and mining cannot go. Very categorically, the mining permission
Right.
says, the environmental clearance says that if you hit the underground water aquifer, you must stop mining. You cannot go further down. But there were blasting happening, at least 20 blasts that happened, and we recorded that.
Okay.
And there were multiple aquifers which had burst, and there were streams of water which were coming out from there. So this is the legal mining that is happening. Where is the implementation?
Right. Very strong points that all of you have made. At least, we're going to take this up as, let's see how far we get. But we're going to take this up as a campaign on India Today. And thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to keep a keen eye on all developments here.